have left behind another day of a great war between the Russian Armed Forces and the Ukrainian Armed Forces. The Pioneer Team's daily map reports to start soon. In this report, we will evaluate the last day we have left behind. The confliction between the Ukrainian Armed Forces and the Russian Armed Forces continues. According to the latest reports, the counteroffensive operations launched by the Ukrainian Armed Forces about 2 months ago are continuing in 3 parts of the front line. It is stated that the armed forces of Ukraine have repulsed Russian troops in some regions and liberated the regions occupied by the Russian troops. So, which are these regions? Let's take a look at the latest situation together. The Pioneer continues to work to provide you with all the details about the confliction between the Russian army and the Ukrainian army. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and open notifications so as not to miss the reports that me and my team have prepared with a great effort. You can also support me and my team by liking our videos. The Pioneer Reports. I would like to start today's report with the Zaporizhia frontline. As in our last few reports, you know this region has been of great importance since the day of the Ukrainian army's counteroffensive began. In particular, the fact that the Ukrainian troops have made radical gains on the Zaporizhia frontline makes this frontline even more important. First of all, let's take a look at the Zaporizhia frontline on the map from a wide angle. As you can see, these blue areas show the areas that have been liberated from the occupation of the Russian armed forces since the day of the counteroffensive of the Ukrainian armed forces began. Today, we will look at the Eurasian region located in this region. Nowadays, many local sources are sharing quite remarkable information about the latest situation in Eurasia. Let's start examining the region with a statement made by the Russian Vostok Battalion stationed in the region about the latest situation in Eurasia. The Russian Vostok Battalion was one of the Russian troops stationed at Stromayorsky. After the liberation of Stromayorsky by the Ukrainian army, the Russian Vostok Battalion, like other Russian troops, withdrew in the direction of Eurasia. Recently, the Russian Vostok Battalion made statements via a Telegram channel. The following statements were used in said statements. Information is reaching the main headquarters that the Ukrainian enemies managed to squeeze us from some positions and that Eurasia is partially surrendered. But it is difficult to understand the real situation at the moment. We are making efforts to understand the latest situation in this region. When we look at the latest reports of local sources, we also see that the probability that the Russian Vostok Battalion was destroyed is quite strong. According to the latest reports of local sources, the combined task force consisting of 35th, 36th, and 37th Infantry Brigade mobilized in Vermitsky managed to enter the outskirts located south of Eurasia. According to local sources, the Russian Vostok Battalion was serving in this region. Therefore, it seems quite likely that the Russian Vostok Battalion was destroyed due to the confliction between Russian and Ukrainian troops in this region, and that Ukrainian troops had a chance to enter Eurasia thanks to this. It is also claimed by local sources that intense clashes between Ukrainian armed forces and Russian armed forces troops have also taken place in the northern neighborhood of Eurasia. There is one issue each reports in question agree. This topic gives an idea about the latest state of defense force of the Russian armed forces in region. Local sources agree that the Eurasian defense force of Russian armed forces has been greatly weakened. In particular, the pressure of the Ukrainian armed forces on the front line with the combined task forces has greatly endured the Russian positions. In addition, the damage caused by the attacks of Ukrainian artillery units on Russian defense positions is quite large. Therefore, we can state that there is a very high probability that the Ukrainian army will repel Russian troops from Eurasia in a very short period of time. The Ukrainian army continues its counteroffensive operation on almost the entire Zaporizhian frontline without tech. As you may remember, we recently talked about the possibility of Ukrainian troops conducting a breaking operation on Verbov line, which is located near Robotin. The Russian army, on the other hand, had taken action to strengthen this region against this possibility. In recent days, the Ukrainian armed forces have increased their attacks near Verbov. At some points, there are reports that the Ukrainian army is making progress. However, these reports still retain the need for confirmation. In addition, the attack of the Ukrainian artillery units stationed on Zaporizhia frontline continue unabated. According to the latest reports, Ukrainian artillery units severely hit Russian troops stationed in Zherbyanki, Robotin, Novopokrovka, Novopokrovka, and Novofedorovka. Recently, there has been a silence in Kherson region. We have not been sharing any information about the latest situation in the region for a long time, as the borders between the two armies have not changed. However, a rather remarkable development has taken place in recent days. According to local sources, the Ukrainian Armed Forces are making progress in some parts of the eastern side of Kherson. Let's first look at Kherson region on the map. The Dnieper River, as you know, was the natural border between the two armies. However, with the Ukrainian troops establishing dominance at the Antonivsky Bridge, this border had changed. It is reported that the Ukrainian troops have recently increased their patrol and offensive activities on the river. Russian sources recently confirmed that Ukrainian troops have established dominance in the Kozachi-Lahery area. According to reports, Ukrainian troops landing at Kozachi-Lahery via the Dnieper River managed to repel Russian troops stationed in the area after prolonged clashes. According to Russian sources, Ukrainian troops said that the Russian armed forces, consisting mostly of mobilized soldiers, managed to penetrate to the depth of 800 meters of the defense lines. The Ukrainian army had achieved a very significant success in this region. A very important situation has developed with the transition of the armed forces of Ukraine to this region. As you know, the eastern side of Dnieper is of great importance for the advance of Ukrainian troops to Crimean Peninsula. The Ukrainian army has been preparing for the offensive to be launched on the Crimean Peninsula for the positions that we obtained on the eastern bank of Dnieper River throughout the counteroffensive. Let's continue our report by evaluating the latest situation in the direction of Bakhmut. The armed forces of Ukraine continue their operations on the northern and southern wings of the city center of Bakhmut. During the mentioned operations, neither the Ukrainian troops nor the Russian troops have any chance concrete success. In particular, we can mention that the artillery units of both armies put a great fight. And what do you think? Do you think the Ukrainian troops will be able to liberate Eurozhane? How do you assess the latest situation on Zaporizhia front line? How will the Ukrainian troops on the eastern bank of the Dnieper River affect the course of the war? Mention it in comments. I'm reading and caring about your comments.